Is olive oil healthy or not healthy? The latest research from the American Heart Association actually shows that olive oil is not a health promoting food. They took two cohorts, one that was eating a whole food plant-based diet with about 4 tablespoons of olive oil a day, and then they took another cohort that was eating a whole food plant-based diet without any olive oil. The results definitively showed, bing, 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 no olive oil.
No. I have tremendous respect over the work that Rip Esselstyn and his father have done, and I believe their take in olive oil is not reflected in the overall body of evidence. Furthermore, his take on this study I also disagree with. I personally believe this study shows us the opposite, that olive oil is indeed health promoting. Having said that, let's have a look at the study that he just mentioned. This is the study that was published in the Journal of American Heart Association. This was a randomized crossover trial, meaning you're exposing both the control and the intervention group to both diets. Both diets were whole food plant-based diets. The main difference, however, was that one group had to eat 4 tablespoons of olive oil per day, while the other group was asked to keep olive oil intake to as low as possible. And I also love that they actually used the highest quality of olive oil, and that is extra virgin olive oil. Both groups had to follow each diet for 4 weeks, with a washout period of 1 week. A washout period in this study means that the participants were asked to follow their habitual diet for 7 days. And even the researcher acknowledged on hindsight, and hindsight is everything, that the washout period probably was too short. Now, some of you astute viewers might have catched onto something already, and that's the biggest limitation in my opinion of this study. One group had to consume 4 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil on top of the diet. That is the equivalent of around 480 calories more. And this is reflected when we actually take a closer and more detailed look at both diets. The diet high in extra virgin olive oil consumed, as you can see on top, around 400 calories more per day. But on average, all participants were likely in a caloric deficit regardless. I also highlighted, for those of you that are interested, the macros and the fiber intake, in which the researchers did a great job at matching those. And yes, the group that ate less calories lost actually more body weight. You can see that the high extra virgin olive oil group lost a little bit of weight, give or take around 2 to 3 kilograms, and the low extra virgin olive oil group lost around 9 kilograms during the first 4 weeks. And during the second phase, the weight loss was not significant between each group. Although the researchers adjusted for weight loss, there's only so much you can do with adjusting, especially when the differences are this striking. And we actually know from good quality research that weight loss can have an impact on your LDL cholesterol. This systematic review and meta-analysis looked at overweight and obese adults and the impact weight loss can have on blood lipids. They included 73 randomized controlled trials with more than 32,000 participants. And the researchers concluded that on average, per every 1 kilogram of weight loss, LDL cholesterol was reduced by 1.28 milligrams per deciliter. Keep that in mind because this becomes relevant when we actually look at the results. So what were the results actually of both groups? Especially since Rip Esselstyn said that olive oil is not healthy. Well, you would be surprised. LDL was reduced in both groups. And the findings were not statistically significant within the first period, and even less so within the second period of the study. LDL was more reduced in the low extra virgin olive oil group, but that's highly likely due to weight loss. And interestingly enough, during the second period, although eating more calories, the participants following a high extra virgin olive oil diet had a greater reduction in LDL cholesterol. But let's focus on the first period. On the first period, we had a difference of around 8.8 LDL cholesterol. This is quite important because if we take a closer look again at the body weight lost between each groups, the high extra virgin olive oil group lost around 3 kilograms, while the low extra virgin olive oil group lost around 9 kilograms. Let's run some calculations. For every 1 kilogram of body weight lost, on average, your LDL cholesterol will go down 1.28 milligrams per deciliter. The high extra virgin olive oil group lost 3 kilograms, so 3 times 1.25 equals around an LDL drop of 3.84. And the same calculation can of course be done with the low extra virgin olive oil group, but instead of times 3, we make it times 9. And if we now subtract the results, we get a difference of 7.68. 7.68. If you remember, the differences between LDL cholesterol between the groups were 8.8. So we are really close. I personally believe that the results were confounded by weight loss. But regardless, both diets achieved great results. And it was done on a whole food, plant-based diet at that. It would also be really interesting to see if the other group added an extra 480 calories of whole plant-based food carbs. That would have been a fairer comparison in my humble opinion, because then both groups ate roughly around the same calories and would have probably lost around the same amount of weight. Keeping in mind the limitations that we just mentioned, I would love to see future studies make similar comparisons and within a greater sample size, because we only had 40 participants in this study. And even if the limitations that we just looked at didn't exist, 40 people is not enough to go against the overall body of evidence that suggests that olive oil is indeed a healthful food. And by the way, my main fat source are nuts and not oils. But I started actually including oils again within my diet after looking at the totality of evidence. What are your thoughts about this topic? Feel free to let me know in the comment section. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you during my next video.